There's more drama and news coming out regarding the ongoing Pac-12 legal battles between the Pac-12 and Washington State University and Oregon State University. And with this one, it seems that UW and WSU are taking their rivalry from the field into the courtroom. Starting out on Twitter, the reporter for The Athletic, Nicole Auerbach, states, "News. Lawyers representing the University of Washington today filed a motion to intervene in the legal proceedings between Washington State, Oregon State, and the Pac-12 Conference. She states that it was granted, however, it has not been granted yet." She then goes on to say that the 9 outgoing Pac-12 schools filed a brief to support UW and support its motion to dismiss. They also wrote that they've entered into a mediation process with WSU and OSU that is currently ongoing and scheduled through October. And then here is UW's full reasoning for its motion to dismiss. There's a lot of legal terminology throughout this paragraph, but what I'll point out is that UW states, "And even if WSU and OSU could overcome these arguments for dismissal or stay, UW has a strong argument that any motion for a preliminary injunction should be denied because WSU and OSU are unlikely to succeed on the merits and cannot show irreparable harm. Put simply, the interpretation of the conference bylaws that WSU and OSU are relying on is wrong." In other words, in an article that was released by CougFan today, it states that in their legal papers, UW stated WSU and OSU cannot prove irreparable harm due to the 10 schools leaving the conference and therefore believe WSU and OSU's quest to stop the 10 from altering conference bylaws to benefit the 10, this depriving WSU and OSU control of the conference's future, ought to be dismissed. Washington State and Oregon State then fired back quickly, issuing a joint statement. WSU and OSU then came out and said, "The departing schools continue to undermine our efforts to secure the future of the Pac-12 Conference. They are relying on flimsy arguments to try to escape accountability for their actions. It won't work. Their decisions directly damage the Pac-12 and are causing real harm to the conference, OSU, WSU, student athletes, and the people of Oregon and Washington." They then added, "We did not create or seek these circumstances, but OSU and WSU will continue to take whatever actions are necessary to protect our universities, ensure accountability and transparency, safeguard the Pac-12 Conference, and preserve our options moving forward. The future of the Pac-12 should be decided by the schools who stay, not those who go." Then Bill Kirk, a prominent Seattle attorney, former King County deputy prosecutor, and WSU graduate, called this appalling. He states, "For the University of Washington to suggest that neither WSU or OSU are likely to prevail on this argument, and worse yet to argue that neither of those institutions can show irreparable harm by what has occurred in this conference tells you everything that you need to know about the integrity of the University of Washington moving forward. They are absolutely doing the dirty work for the other 9 schools that have bailed from this conference. It is appalling to think that a fellow state university would treat another institution in such a fashion." A couple of the notes by CougFan is that UW filed the motion because it has standing in the state of Washington, with the other 9 departing schools filing briefs in support. This looks to be a pretty outrageous filing by the University of Washington because essentially they're saying that by those 10 universities leaving the Pac-12, that Washington State University and Oregon State University can't prove that that creates harm to those schools. And what this is starting to look more and more like is that those 10 universities that left the conference decided to leave with the thought that if they were to leave, that Washington State and Oregon State would be forced to go join another conference, that they wouldn't possibly try to stay and keep the Pac-12 and its assets, right? But they were wrong, and Washington State and Oregon State are standing their ground, and they want to keep the Pac-12 alive. And whether the goal is to just hold on to the assets of the Pac-12 and the media rights, or if their goal is to actually rebuild the conference after these next couple years, that remains to be seen, but the ball is still in the Cougs and the Beavers' court. Here on the Couch GM, we'll be having a live stream tonight at 8 p.m. Pacific. We'll be joined by sports attorney Mitt Winter, who's going to help walk us through some of these Pac-12 legalities and how it might affect the university moving forward. So thank you for watching. Hope to see you tonight, and we'll see you next time.